This is Just in Case of American Newscape, joining our friend and mentor, Joyce Rockwood, sharing improving digestion naturally, enhancing your lunch options on your path to overall vitality. Greetings, Joyce. Welcome back to American Newscape.
Yay, hello. I'm hungry already.
Yeah, it's such a privilege to be back and be here in this moment in time. So let's share it with everybody else. Joyce, you're here today to make us hungry. Dang it. We
Yes.
we've touched on breakfast in the previous segments and how to set that up best. Looks like you're back to help us out with lunch. How do we best
Yay.
approach this so we can improve our digestion and still feel satisfied?
That is always the key. People think like when they're going to start eating healthier, they're not going to be as happy. I don't know why. I don't know what people's previous experience has been with eating healthy food, but I'm here to change the beat and turn the beat around. So, yeah, I'm really happy to share some tips with our audience today so that they can have some really great plant-based lunch options and ideas that are not just going to be really satisfying, but will also help them to feel more energized, help them improve their digestion, and of course, elevate their detoxification. That is always the end game goal here, right?
Exactly.
I've talked about how the order of food and also eating certain combinations of food is definitely a very big precursor to elevating digestion. And, both of these things affect digestion time. Right. So if we're talking about like how much time it takes for food to exit the stomach, as well as how quickly it eventually exits our body, that's what we mean when we say digestion time. There's kind of two elements that come into play. These two things also affect our gas. And like if you're experiencing a lot of bloating, this is a common thing that a lot of times people are coming to me to try and figure out and solve. It's one of the reasons food combining is one of the main reasons why I'm so passionate about teaching this, because it really does give people these immediate results. And this is not a fad. This is not going, out of style anytime soon. I've been doing food combining and practicing food combining for like 25 years, and it's not going anywhere. And it's one of the things that I find is often missing from people's understanding about digestion and how to eat. So, the optimal order of food that we eat throughout the day is light to heavy. We've touched upon this in that breakfast segment we did. I shared why fruit could be an ideal option for some people because it's a very light food and it exits the stomach very quickly. And this concept of eating light to heavy relates to the time it takes, again, for that food to leave the stomach, which is that first organ of digestion. It's about the size of your fist underneath your left rib cage. Takes time. It takes the time it takes for the food to leave the stomach. And different food groups break down in various transit times. All right. So like fruit is one of those quick transit time foods. Now let's talk about the three different breakdowns. So we can kind of break it into like light, heavier foods, and then heaviest foods. So like the lightest foods would be the fresh pressed vegetable juices, our fresh fruit that we eat, and maybe raw or even some cooked vegetables. Then the heavier foods that we would eat would fit into like raw nuts and seeds, starchy carbohydrate foods like rices and grains like quinoa, kasha, millet, breads, potatoes, pasta, if I didn't say that already. And then the heavier or heaviest foods would be the dairy, eggs, and protein foods. Okay. So just to kind of give you a visual of the breakdown of the food groups in terms of light, medium, and heavy. And so when it comes to lunch, let's go back to that, our main course of action today. When it comes to lunch, here's how I coach my clients. So if you want to take a couple of notes just to kind of, reinforce this information that might support you once this segment's over so that you can kind of start integrating this on your own. We always want to begin with some kind of raw food that's green, leafy, water containing, some kind of salad that is so crucial and so important to really improving our digestive health. That's number one. Then, right after you finish the salad, you can begin to eat the cooked food. A lot of times people always ask this question of like, do I have to wait? How long do I have to wait after I eat the salad to eat the cooked food? No waiting necessary. You can go right into it. The salad should be eaten first, though. That's really crucial. And it should be eaten first in its entirety, which means you don't want to be cutting up chicken and putting it in your salad. Okay.
Oops.
Now, yeah, question?
No, that was just an oops.
Oh, that or a burp.
Yeah.
No, optimally, if you're really looking to maximize lunch here, here's what we're going to do. You're going to make this meal vegetarian or vegan in terms of the entree. That works best at lunch. That does not mean you have to become a vegetarian or a vegan for the rest of your life. It just means that that one particular meal, if you can elevate it to more plant-centric and, less animal-based foods in that one particular point of the day, that is going to really elevate your digestive health. And the reason for this is based on the transit time of this type of food right out of the stomach, meaning cooked vegetables, and then maybe some quinoa or some roasted yams or even some red bliss potatoes. Those foods have a faster transit time than salmon or chicken or any other kind of animal protein. Okay. So animal protein has the most amount or the longest amount of transit time. It's like maybe 6 hours or longer. Okay. All the other foods are about 4 hours or less. So if you can master this order, then you can see a shift in your eliminations. You're going to have less brain fog. You're going to feel more mentally alert. You're going to have better sleep, more energy, more radiant skin, and be less bloated.
Okay. Well, and that brings it back to, even libido. If I'm gassy and bloated, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you want to feel good in your own skin, right? I feel like that's another one of the things, another one of my passions is really helping people feel that same level of lightness of being. Everyone wants to feel light in their body. And a lot of times people are coming to me because they just feel so weighed down. So if you can really elevate this lunch, if you could just try this lunch idea just once, try it once, see how it feels. You're going to start to see a shift. And what's going to happen is a lot of times in the beginning, people feel like they're going to miss the meat. But if you can just work with some of the denser vegetarian foods, you're not going to miss it at all because you're going to start feeling so much better. You're just going to crave that lightness of being all over again.
Okay. Now, Joyce, do you have any secret recipes for us that are going to make this easier for us?
Yeah, I know. Like sometimes people get really they get trapped or they get confused around like how to really organize the lunch or like what to make, and they get a little bored kind of quickly. So here's one that I really love that you can steal. Okay,
Okay.
so salad first on all of these. Okay, always salad first. That's my big hashtag, the big salad. And then you can cook up some veggies, like maybe some carrots or parsnips together. Those are really nice. A lot of times people are unfamiliar with parsnips. They're kind of like the albino carrot. They come out a lot at Thanksgiving with fresh dill. So maybe you want to take some carrots and some parsnips, some fresh dill. I like this food flavoring called Satanbacher broth. It comes in a yellow canister, and it's a powdered vegetable broth that you can just add to water. It's so flavorful. It's super, super tasty. And after you cook up the vegetables, then I just would recommend taking one of those handheld immersion blenders and turning it right into a whipped up puree. And then what you can do is take some toasted whole grain bread. One of the ones I love is called Food for Life. Toast that up, and then you can just pour it bread and kind of eat it like almost like a sandwich. Or you can kind of just like off these pieces like big croutons and dip it like finger food right into the puree and munch on it like that. It's really satisfying because it's savory. Will you try that one?
I don't know.
Do you
I'm
like
not.
parsnips? What are your favorite veggies?
Um, my favorite veggies are, of course, are veggies that are not good for you, like corn and things like that. I try and integrate lettuces into my diets as vegetables. I use cauliflower for making faux breads and pizza crusts and things like that, and I've actually developed a taste for it, even though I have no use for cauliflower otherwise. But for me, it's a process of integrating things in. You know,
Yeah.
lately I buy pounds of dried mushroom mixes and I create soups. And these are
Yeah.
rich, rich, rich soups, but then I have to put calories in them for my diet. And, I may use a pinch of rice or a pinch of pasta.
A
And,
pinch of rice?
well, that.
What do you put, like 3 grains in there? Oh, I'm
No,
full.
no, that would be a cup. Wouldn't a pinch of rice be a cup? Into that soup. And
Yeah.
typically I'll put shredded chicken or something in it for the protein, but I don't
Hmm.
need to. I certainly don't need to for lunch.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can definitely work with those grains. Let me give you another option since you didn't like the first one. See if I can redeem myself.
well, no, no, no. What I don't like, people shouldn't judge anything, but okay.
All right, so here's another one. This one's really simple and it's really clean. It's really easy to make. I have a huge love for this squash called kabocha squash. Not a lot of people know about it, but I'm here to out it. Get more of this kabocha squash on your plate. It's a really dark hunter green kind of squash. It's a very round squash. Looks like someone took it and kind of squashed it top and bottom. Anyhow, cut it up into really big pieces, really big chunks, throw it into the oven on a tray with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil and just roast that up. And maybe you want to roast up some other veggies, maybe some red peppers or some eggplant, and just, sprinkle some pink salt and some crush up some black pepper on there. Super simple, nice and clean. Maybe some onion powder if you want it to be a little bit more jazzed up. And just like having that roasted squash, it's very dense, it's very sweet, it's very heavy. So that could be something that makes people feel more satisfied in the absence of eating protein in the afternoon, which is one of the things that, again, like if you're consistently eating protein, animal protein in the afternoon, and you can switch that out, that'll give you some really quick results. So that's a nice clean one. And you can make a bunch of that to have like throughout the whole week if you're doing food prep.
And
And I got one more for you.
you could substitute other squashes for that too, correct? I
Yeah.
mean, even
Yeah. You could
zucchini
do
or
spaghetti squash.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Spaghetti squash, acorn squash, butternut squash. Those are some of the more common ones.
Okay.
But I love the kabocha. All right. I got one more for you.
I'm ready.
It's the best one. It's the best one for last. Okay, so this is my signature recipe. I like to consider it my signature recipe. It's my portobello mushroom recipe. It's a total crowd pleaser for those who want something that's a bit more robust. They can really sink their teeth into. You could saute up a big portobello mushroom cap. And again, that's kind of like your meat replacer in terms of density and also in terms of flavor. And just put it in a pan with some of that Satanbacher broth again. And maybe I should take some stock in Satanbacher broth.
You should.
And separately, I like to recommend cooking up some green beans, right? There's also this really yummy basil avocado sauce recipe that I have that you can just make from scratch, super easy, super quick. And you can make enough of that to have like as a side throughout the week. And then toasting up some whole grain bread. I like the Food for Life, the Ezekiel 49, because it's really clean. It also comes in typically in the freezer section of the store, which means there's no preservatives in it, so it's not going to upset the microbiome. And then you just place the basil sauce right on top of the bread. Hopefully your mouths are all starting to water. And then you layer that portobello mushroom after it's been cooked right on top. Put the next slice of bread on top, cut it in half, and you're ready to go. You can just put the green beans on the side. You can drizzle a little bit of that basil sauce on top of them as well. Bright green, super like visually tantalizing and so savory and so filling. I think this one's going to really make someone, hopefully more than someone, make the crowd super happy and satisfied that they have some really great plant-based lunch options to work with.
Hey, this is kind of exciting, but you're not going to torment us with this magic guacamole, avocado, basil sauce and just say it's quick and easy. How do you make it?
How do you make it? I actually have a little gift for you. I've got
Cool.
an ebook with the recipe all mapped out step by step because I know a lot of people, like for me, cooking, it just kind of comes very naturally. Ingredients and how much of what to put in. It's just like I just kind of toss it in as I go. But I actually wrote down measurements for you if you're not really someone who feels that comfortable in the kitchen. So right below in our show notes for you, we've got a link so you can click and steal that portobello mushroom sandwich recipe and make it at home. And let me know how it goes. You can come back here and comment down below and let me know if you had like if you needed a bib, if it was like a crowd pleaser, if you're going to make it again, if you need help with the recipe, if it didn't come out right. I'm here to support you best.
Hey, and one thing I'll add is if you're cooking with vegetables and you like to enhance the flavors, lemon zest and lemon juice, even on Joyce's roasted squash, is going to help bring out those flavors in lieu of salt.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Nothing wrong with a little Himalayan or pink salt. But yeah, if you want to move away from it, you can definitely use some of those more mouth-watering squeezables, lemons, limes, whatever it may be. That's a great tip.
Okay, Joyce, do you have another best step for us, or are we pretty much we got this one in the bag?
Yeah, we're pretty much in the bag. Again, the reason why I wanted to share some of these options with you is because I often, meet people who are really struggling with their digestion. And, sometimes it's not even, or they don't even realize it's their digestion. They're struggling with sleep or energy and skin issues, but it's really a digestive health issue. So if we can really get to the root cause of the problem, you can start to see some really quick results. And nothing would make me happier than to know that you've tried this and that it's starting to work for you. And so, it doesn't mean that every single day your lunch has to be vegetarian or vegan, but if you can swap it out at least 3 or 4 days out of the week, you're going to definitely start to see some shifts. You might also notice that you start gravitating more to eating all those healthier foods and those healthier combinations when you start getting the results that you really, really crave.
Joyce, thank you. Everybody, this has been Justin Case and Joyce Rockwood sharing Boost Your Gut Health, how to choose the right lunch to enhance digestive health. Thanks for joining us. Remember, free gifts, additional information, and links are provided in this video's read more. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel to stay connected, and please connect with Joyce in the links below so you can learn some healthy revelations, snare some great recipes, and not go bananas.